Never before have virtual conferences and events been in such high demand. If you're wondering how you can organize a virtual conference, keep watching. Organizing a virtual conference is actually not that different than organizing a live conference. Now, if you've never done a live conference, then some of this will be new to you, but if you have, then it's pretty much like 80% about the same and maybe 20% completely different. So as you look to create and organize your virtual conference, the first thing you'll want to think about is, who are you serving? Who is this conference for? Who do you need to get registered for this? Is this something you're going to market and promote out in the market, or are you doing this for a specific company that already has a captive audience? So number one is, who is this event for, which is going to help you determine, well, what is the event about? If you don't already have a theme, then you'll want to cater the theme to the people that you know it's for. Step two, what is this conference? What is it about? What's the theme? What are the topics? What's the agenda? Who are the speaker? What are the activities? All of that, just like in a live event, you want to plan out ahead of time and secure any speakers or trainers or facilitators that you want to get them well in advance. Another thing to think about is, what's the business model for the conference? Now again, if you're organizing a virtual conference for a corporation or for a dedicated client, then you probably already know how you're going to monetize the conference. The company's going to pay you to do it. So if you're like me and you're running public conferences and seminars, you'll really want to give some thought to, what's the business model? How are you going to monetize this event? Are you just going to sell registrations? Are you going to have sponsors? Are you going to sell products and services in the virtual event itself for later? Right? So there are lots of different ways to monetize events. And actually, I have a video about all the different ways that you can monetize events. And a lot of those things are true whether it's virtual or in person. So I invite you to check out that video. One really important consideration as you're putting together a virtual conference is, what platform are you going to use? Now, I know that everybody and their mother literally are now using a Zoom platform, and that's what I use, and I actually own stock in the Zoom. So I'm a big believer in it, but it's not always the best platform, and I'll tell you why. Especially right now, Zoom is struggling with bandwidth issues. So if your event is just about having a live virtual conference, no problem. You can host that and get pretty decent quality. But if you're looking to host your conference and record it and sell the recordings as another revenue stream after the fact, then be careful, because right now, lately, and often, Zoom's recording quality is very poor and you're getting very blurry, bitmapped video. So another approach might be to find another platform that doesn't have the bandwidth issues that Zoom is having if you need to record the event. Another thing you'll want to think about as you choose your platform is, what kind of activities do you want to do? One thing that Zoom does great, and I don't know if other platforms offer, is breakout sessions. So a virtual conference can get really boring really fast if you've got one person talking and everybody listening the whole time. So I'm a big believer in mixing up the formats and having maybe a person presenting something and then breaking out into smaller sessions so that people can have discussions. So that's something you'll want to think about as you put together your event. How are you going to vary the formats so that it doesn't get boring? Especially online, people can disconnect very quickly. You know, it was one thing when we were going to a conference and getting away for 3 or 4 or 5 days and being separated from our families and from our houses, being in this location together. That created a certain container that would create certain results. But when we're doing these things virtually, a lot of times people are in their own home, distracting environments. They've got kids running in the room, they've got wives or husbands asking questions. And so creating the virtual conference is about creating a container that's varied and interesting enough that people don't disengage. So some of the things that we do in our events to keep it interesting is, number one, the content structure, the content framework, so that we don't have talking heads the whole time. So you've got a talking head with a breakout session, with a break, and then an activity where we're standing up, and then another one where we're sitting down. So mixing it up so that physiologically people are moving their bodies, that makes an impact. And also mentally, so they're changing the type of things that they're thinking about or talking about or working on. I like to mix it up between doing inner work and outer work, like discussion-based stuff versus reflection-based stuff. I bring in visualizations and meditations. I bring in entertainment. We put music on, and yes, we do dance parties, even on a virtual event. So get creative. Another thing that we've done that's really helpful for virtual events to bring in a live component is we send out a care package before the event takes place so that people get it in the mail and open it up, and there's a variety of cool things inside of the care package. For example, recently we hosted a retreat, and inside the care package we had sets of funky glasses. Everybody got a different set of funky glasses. And at one point in the retreat, we told them to pull out the funky glasses, put them on, put on some music, we danced around, and we took pictures, screenshots that we then posted to social media and tagged the participants in. So you can get really creative. This is something that you might not do in person, but is very, very easy to do online. The last thing you'll want to think about is what you're going to do after the event. This is one of the areas that people forget the most. And this is also one of the areas where you can have the biggest impact. Even in in-person events, how often do you go to an event, have an amazing experience, then say bye, see you later, and then never hear from anybody again or never do anything again? Well, one of the best things you can do is to create a post-event plan, a follow-up process. So for example, I recently attended an event with a whole bunch of my colleagues. It was one of my industry associations. And they created a 90-day check-in plan where every month we were meeting in a mastermind format once a month. So we met 3 times after the event to check in on progress that we had gotten from the things that we learned at the event. So we did the event, we had the experience, we learned a whole bunch of things, we took notes, we created to-do lists, then we left, but we regathered 30 days later and 60 days later and 90 days later. And that was really effective in deepening the learning and deepening the relationships among the people that were there. If creating and filling and monetizing events is something that you already do or something that you want to do, let's connect. I have programs and products and services that can help you do this more effectively. Go ahead and visit superstardiscoverycall.com to set up a time to connect and discover if and how I might be able to help you grow and scale your business using events.